Hi, this is Brian from Enlightenspeed here, and this is just a quick video to introduce you to LaunchEon, the new plugin we've just released. We will be doing some other tutorial videos later on, but this is just to let people see the basics of operation there. LaunchEon is a CV master controller device. It uses scenes to store up to 64 different sets of CV output information, and that's for up to 40 output ports. And it basically then changes from one scene to another, with thus potentially up to changing 40 different CV settings at any one time. The 40 odd ports, they are divided into 32 which are optimized for morphing and 8 which are optimized for controlling pattern sequencers. We can just have a wee look at those there. This is the 40 morphers, these are for the 8 pattern sequencers. The morphing ports are bipolar outputs and they range from -127 to 127, while the pattern controllers are unipolar, ranging from off to 8, which by default that's scaled to the now kind of de facto standard of the majority of player devices. But it can also be set to control classic pattern devices such as Redrum and the matrix pattern sequencer. Each of the morphing ports can also be configured to react to either scene changes, morph changes, or both. This will make a bit more sense later on once you're looking at tutorials showing you deeper into the device. So we'll discuss that kind of detail in subsequent videos, but for now the full details of these operations are available in the user manual and in the tutorial manual. So let's just present some of the possibilities of LaunchEon to whet your appetite and some basic setup details. So we will start with the morphing side of things and show this combinator I'm building just now. This might get added to the instrument collection at some point. Just scrolling down here and having a quick look, we can see that there are 4 subtractors there. They're all connected the same way. The audio cables, they go into the mixer channels. Then there are 4 sends set up on the mixer. The subtractor patches and the effects patches were deliberately chosen more or less at random. And the remaining connections are all, of course, CV connections. So we've kept them uniform for simplicity. All 4 subtractors are connected to LaunchEon by their oscillator phase, their FM amount, their filter 1 frequency, and their mod wheel. This takes up 16 ports on LaunchEon because there's 4 subtractors, so 4 times 4. And we also want the volume and the pan control on each subtractor. So we will get these just by connecting LaunchEon to the level and pan inputs of the mixer, as these. We have reduced the cable cluttering just so you can see the basics of what's going on there. And the final connections are for the mixer send amounts, which are all connected up via the combinator, again just for simplicity for now. But it's a good way to experiment and start to home in on a good general sound, and you can then mess around with that part of the configuration later on if necessary. It can be particularly rewarding as well to take it so that it's out of the combinator and actually have it so that the sends you're controlling the returns of the levels and the pans here. But in the earlier parts of the process, you're probably better off messing around with the send amounts just till you start to get the sound closer. So I'm just going to play around here a little bit, give you some idea of how this sounds, and move the morph around a wee bit as well while we're doing it. So, I mean, that all sounds quite nice and neat, but in this case I've already randomised everything and made a few adjustments using the randomizer range controls. And these controls, which are in the settings screen, allow you to limit ranges that the outputs can be randomised to, and thus keep everything under control. There's more on this in the manual, and we will have a video up which includes details on this soon. But for now, suffice it to say that it's extremely useful for refining the sounds. And that's the general gist of the morphine. And now I'll move on to the pattern controller. And this time I'm going to do it with one of the instrument collection combinators. This one's called Fidget Drums, and it's originally meant for like kind of house with a bit of a dirtier, more distorted sound. In this one we have all sorts of effects going on if we're having a look down the rack, but we can ignore that for now unless you already own LaunchEon and are experimenting with it. We're just concerned with showing how the pattern device connections work, and for this we have two drum sequencers, each sending patterns to an oomph, as you can see. For LaunchEon itself, this time we're wanting to look at the scene page, and if we look towards the top left we can see the labels for the ports. So as you can probably guess in, each row represents a device and each play button represents a pattern number. These run 1 to 8 from left to right, and if we look round the back we can see that the pattern control jacks are connected to the combinator. This is typically how you will always connect to get access to pattern changes. So back to the scenes page, and you notice that to the right of each play button is a small numbered set of buttons. This is the scene microcontroller, and it allows you to do a few things depending on context, things like locking and user numbering, just to help manage the device, are in there. For now we'll just note that the numbered section changes the scene, including what's actually on the display here. So that's the scene being changed. So I'm just going to jam a little bit here at random to show how this works. Note that I'll also mess around with the XY dials at the top to make things a wee bit more interesting. Note that this will sound very experimental and not at all polished. So I hope you get the idea there, and hopefully you'll be intrigued and give LaunchEon a try. We will be making more videos soon to show the features in more detail, because the deeper you get into it, the more you realise, it's just going to get deeper and deeper. So thanks for watching in the meantime, and we shall see you again really soon. Take care. Bye bye.